Good morning, everyone. Welcome to one more book launch event. My name is Neetu, the host for today on behalf of Adhin Books. आशा करती हूँ कि आपको हमारे नए बुक्स के ऑथर से मिलना, उन्हें जानना पसंद आ रहा होगा। कमेंट सेक्शन में जरूर बताएं। आज हम जिस किताब के बारे में बात करेंगे, उस किताब का नाम है द डीएनए इवेंट। इस किताब के ऑथर हैं बॉस्को डैनियल। So let me tell you about the book, The DNA of Events. Behind every flawless event is a team that sweats the small stuff and laughs through the chores. In The DNA of Event, subtitled Art of Curating Interesting Events, hospitality veteran Bosco Daniel, through his sharp-witted alter ego Paddy, takes reader into the fast-paced, unpredictable, and rewarding world of event management. Drawing from over 40 years of global hospitality experience, Bosco shares real stories, tough lessons, and surprising wins that shapes truly successful events. With chapters like Helicopter View, Baker's Dozen, and Under Promise, Over Delivered, the book blends practical advice with humor, honesty, and heart. Whether it's a corporate gala, a wedding, or a high stake conference, this book offers an unfiltered look into what really makes event work. Witty wise and visually real, it's a backstage pass to the art and science of event execution. अब बात करेंगे किताब के ऑथर के बारे में, दैट इज बॉस्को डैनियल. Bosco Daniel is a seasoned hospitality professional with over 4 decades of experience in the global event and hotel industry. Having led events for some of the most recognized hospitality brands, he has mastered the balance between precision and creativity that successfully events demand. Through his alter ego Paddy, Bosco brings a unique storytelling event style that combines professional wisdom with humor and humility, making learning engaging and relatable. Today, he continues to inspire more professionals, hotel teams, and aspiring managers with his insight, while also mentoring through his hospitality advisory firm. The DNA of event is Bosco's contribution to the next generation of event manager, a guide, a laugh, and a lesson, all rolled into one. So let me welcome Bosco Daniel.
Good morning, Neetu. How are you today?
I'm good, sir. How are you today?
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me over.
Yes. And congratulations, sir, that your book is live on Amazon, sir. So how do you feel?
I think, like any other author, I've never been an author. This is my first book, hopefully not the last. Feeling
Definitely.
great, looking forward to it, hoping that people kind of relate to the topics out here.
Definitely, sir. That's great. So, sir, we are talking about your book so that our viewers came to know about your book and your journey as an author as well. So, what inspired to write the DNA of events?
Well, Neetu, I think anybody, it's not only me, anybody who's been in any profession for 40 years plus, 4 decades plus, I think it's only right that they give back to society. You got to take your learnings and pass it on, really. That's what it is. Now,
Yes,
I've been in the hotel industry for 40 plus years. I've worked with groups like the Jumeirah group of hotels in Dubai. I worked at the Taj, the Oberois, the Meridian, the Marriott hotels. I worked in India. I worked in Yemen. I worked in Dubai. I worked in Saudi. I worked in the States, in UK. So when you take all this and blend it together, I personally feel there is a story to tell, correct? So there is
definitely.
so much that has happened. Now, over the last 4 decades, I used to be the director of events, which predominantly meant it could be a meeting for 20 people, or it could be dignitaries, or it could be a global launch which is taking place, or a wedding, or anything like this. Now, a lot of people, and I'm talking about the IHM students, when they look at, or anyone for that matter, when they look at hospitality or they look at hotels, what do they really see? They see the glamour, they see the flowers, they see the lights, they see the wining and the dining. What they don't see is the chaos, the madness which happens behind the scenes of how the events team is running breakneck speed, trying to deliver things of what they promised to the client. So, what we have brought in this book, I would like to think is the raw DNA of events. So this is not a book really, Neetu. It is what I would like to think. It is part manual that is giving you a little bit of a technical insight into things on the 11 chapters that have been put together, and part storytelling. So every single chapter will have a related story attached to it, so it binds it together. Now, the beauty of this is these are not fabricated stories. These are real time stories that took place of the thousands of events which we put together. So that's really what inspired the book.
Definitely, sir. And it's a very interesting book because your real time experiences, the stories that you have shaped in your book as well. So, how did your years of experience in hospitality shape the stories in this book, sir?
Uh, I personally feel, again, with no offense to any profession, but I feel that hospitality really is probably one of the toughest schools. It teaches you everything on the run. This is not classroom style, this is real life drama taking place. From the time you wake up in the morning to the time you go to bed, there is something or the other happening in our industry. It's not like, how should I put it? It's not like if you work in a bank where you know that the bank opens at 9, you know it closes at 5. Or there's a shop or a retail unit, you know that there's an opening and a shutdown time, correct? But in
Yes,
a hospitality thing, it really is 24/7, 365 days a year. It
yes, sir.
never stops. So the number of years and everything that we put here, it's immediate of all the real life stories which have been put. A small, like, let's just imagine if you stay in a hotel and that experience is not good enough for you. Maybe the food's not good, or the temperature setting is not good, or you got a noisy room. That complaint is a lesson. Or if you walked into your room and the bulb's not working, that's a lesson. So this book really is something which is born in the fire of real events. So that is what shaped this book altogether.
Definitely, sir. Definitely, because event is a really a into 7 job, sir, where you have to put your hearts to make the event more successful, sir.
So
Okay.
true.
Yes. So you often mention Paddy in the book. Can you tell us more about him and why you choose to include his stories, sir?
Neetu, when I started off as a fresher, I used to work in Mumbai with a five-star hotel there. My roommate, my partner, if you want to call it that, as a fresher, I was the 19, 20-year-old person out there just starting my first job. That gentleman, his name was Sudhir Padmanabhan. By short form, we used to call him Paddy. So Paddy was my roommate, Paddy was my first buddy when I started my journey. So it's like a toddler holding the finger of a little bit senior person to start that journey. So I held on to Paddy. Not only was he my workmate, he was also my roommate when I was a fresher. We stayed in the same hostel, used the same room. So it made sense to use Paddy as the alter ego. It made sense to put Paddy up there to say, Paddy, you're saying or you're narrating that story, correct? So every single chapter has got a small little story attached, a small anecdote, or a small little lesson. What I've done is I've used the alter ego and named him Paddy because at the end of the day, it's been 40 plus years, and Paddy, bless him, he's still in touch with me after 40 plus years living in Bangalore City. So I'm kind of dedicating the book in many senses to Paddy to say, thanks, buddy, for being there. Thanks for helping me out. What I don't want people to misunderstand with the name Paddy, this is not the famous name of the Irish name Paddy, which is out there. So, in Ireland, when you go, they use the word Paddy. This is not to be confused with the Irish word or name of Paddy. This is my roommate, this is my buddy, this is Paddy, who's speaking from his heart and giving the real stories out.
Definitely, sir. Definitely. So, what makes this book different from other event management book available in the market, sir?
Um, there are many, many books out there. So many books, correct? And I'm sure there are many of them which are very, very good, exceptional, written by a lot of experienced people. Either they've been in the practical side or the theoretical side or whichever side of it. But the DNA of events is not just a book which has got a manual and a checklist. The DNA of events is not theory. It is part theory, but it's reality. It's not just a manual, it's an event survival guide. Why am I saying that? Tomorrow, if Neetu, as a housewife or as a corporate person, okay, even in today with your job that you do, you may end up having to organize the award ceremony of your company, and you're inviting, let's say, 500 people. So the boss has come to Neetu and said, Neetu, I want you to take charge of this. You're senior enough. Now, you got to search for that hotel or you got to search for the venue. You got that to arrange for the entertainment, the stage, the sound, the light, the food, the beverage, the ambience, the florals, the decor, the color of the linen. There's so many different aspects related to it. The schedule, the RSVP list, all this is part of the event forum, correct? So if Neetu does not necessarily have to be a professional hotelier, even as a housewife, as a corporate person, as a lay person, can get her hands on this book, can say, oh, this makes sense. So if I apply these theories when I'm planning my event, all the 11 chapters, and relates to it and probably has a small little laugh on some of the stories, it'll stick in. So that is something which will be quite interesting. So I think because it's part technical and because it's part story, that is what probably makes it a little bit different to other books.
Definitely, sir. So, who do you think should definitely read this book? Students, professionals, or business owners? Sir?
Personally, again, I think all three should read the book. Now, the question is someone will say, in fact, I'll add a fourth dimension to it. You said, should it be students, should it be professionals, should it be business owners? I would add a fourth category to that to say, even the lay person, even the person who's probably just a working class person who's planning to do the 21st wedding anniversary or planning to do a birthday party for the kids. For the students, why is it important for the students? Any IHM student who's passing out is always curious. And if I kind of rewind my 40 years and when think back when I got out of catering college, I wasn't too sure whether I wanted to be in the kitchen, I wanted to be in front office, I wanted to be in the accounts. Like hotels have got number of departments, correct? So why events? Now, I've got a story which is personal to me during my catering college. An incident took place, uh, and that kind of made me lean towards event management, correct? Now, if an IHM student reads this, it gives them an insight of what happens front of house, what happens behind the scenes. Now, if they don't feel that this is their cup of tea, they might say, you know what, I'll join the housekeeping, I'll join the accounts, I'll join front office, I'll join guest relations. Events is not my cup of tea. So I think this will be a mirror to them, something like a guide. Okay. And if it's a professionals, people who have been in the industry, they will look at this book and when they read through it and they see the touch point of the story, it'll be for them an aha moment. They'll say, oh my God, that also happened to me. Something similar took place. So, this is the kind of a thing we are talking about where it touches the students, it touches the professionals, and yes, the business owner. Why is it important for a business owner? Because at the end of the day, if you're putting time and energy in an event, be it a gala be it a concert for 50,000 people, there is something called a P&L, a profit and loss statement. If you're doing something, you want to make sure that you're making a profit. Now, there are so many different ways that you can actually end up losing money, or there are so many different ways you can make extra money. So these tips are in the book on the P&L of how to manage things, because you work not only with your staff and colleagues and the guests, you work with vendors, the stage, the sound, the light, the generator set of guys, or the guys who are getting the florals. If you know how to manage the P&L, this is already a great touching point for the business owners. So yes, I mean there are so many different categories I can go on and on.
Definitely, sir. So it's a very new concept, and basically people are working in event management. But it definitely helped through this books, the real stories, the struggles, the success that you are in your 40 years that you have experienced that you can share with the new generation as well. So,
Absolutely.
so what do you think are the top three skills every successful event manager must have? Sir?
There are many skills, Neetu, in any profession, but I think when it comes to events, there are three which come to mind. Okay, one is what I call, and which is again in the chapter, it's called attention to detail. Now, I can't stress enough to any event professional that you got to have attention to detail. What does that even mean? Okay, if I'm arranging a birthday party for Neetu Yadav, and there are 150 people coming to the Oberois in Delhi, I've got to know exactly what's running through Neetu's mind, or her parents' mind, or her family's mind, and sit down and grasp all this information and make sure that nothing gets lost in transit. If you say that when you walk through the door, that is a kind of music that needs to play for the first 2 minutes, and then while your friends are coming, these kind of lights or this flavor of cake or whatever. So, attention to detail is super important. Number two, we are in the business of people when we work in hotels. So, people skills is super important again, because not only are you working with guests, you're working with your own colleagues, your superiors, your subordinates, with the management up there, but also the unspoken people who are the vendors who are coming through the door. So all these people have to be managed. Now, if your people skills are strong, the chances of the success of the event is much higher.
Definitely, sir.
Finally, third point, which I think an event manager really, really needs, is nerves of steel. What do I mean by that? You can plan it and you can have number of briefings, you can talk to people, you'll make sure everything is fine, from the concierge to the doorman to the GRO to whatever. Believe it or not, you can have plan A, plan B, plan C, and still something will go wrong. Now you should be able to adapt on the go. What does that mean? So you just got to be cool, you got to be calm, you got to be that kind of adaptable person who will immediately switch, swap, and keep the show running. So, yes, the three things which come to mind: attention to detail, people skills, adaptability or nerves of steel, so that you're cool during pressure.
Definitely, sir. You say event management is like a live show with no retakes. So, can you please share one real life incident where this was tested, sir?
Okay, I've done thousands of events, but I think I'll give you a simple one which can people can relate to. All right.
Definitely.
We had a gala dinner taking place in one of our venues. There must have been close to about 2,000 people in that room. Round tables of 10, a large stage, a huge production set up. the pianist, a DJ, buffet counters. I can go on and on. Florals, lights, strobe lights, everything. It was a black tie affair. And at a certain point, when certain announcements were being made, suddenly, as expected, when you say something might go wrong, the announcement system cut off and the sound system started having a blip. So, what did we immediately do when I spoke about nerves of steel and being adaptable? We immediately jumped into plan B, which is we got the DJ on and we got the DJ to make the announcements because he was in a separate sound system to take over from there to announce to the people that we will be moving the schedule by 5 minutes, in which there will be a lull, in which we're going to be serving some canopies and bubbly, and then there was background music being played. So, as far as the 2,500 people are concerned, Neetu, in the room, for them it was smooth. Things just carried on. Behind the scenes, panic, fix it, get the technician, make things happen, put things in order. So it took over 5 minutes. But the thing is, because the DJ also worked as an MC and the service staff was tuned, it looked effortless. It looked like it was meant to be like that. So the
Definitely.
2,500 sudden, you got glasses of juices coming through, you got the canopies flowing through, the lights have dimmed, the music is set, it's conversational music. It makes it feel like this was meant to be the way it was. So these kind of incidents bring me to the point is it's a live show. There's no retakes. Same like
Definitely.
life. Same thing like life. Today, you and me woke up, we got our plans, we got stuff to do, we got everything to happen. You may have a long to do list, 2 kilometers long. You're not sure whether it's going to work that way. So you got to keep adapting along the way and still keep the decorum that you don't get thrown off balance. So that is why I say events is a live show. There's no retakes. It's almost like going through life.
Definitely, sir. Definitely. So there should be a plan B always.
There should be a plan B and there should be a plan C.
Definitely, sir.
You never know. Plan B also may not fall into place.
Definitely, sir. So how important is cultural sensitivity in event planning? So can you share a lesson you learned from it?
Cultural sensitivity is super important again. I'll talk about, I know you're based in India, I'm based in Dubai. I'll give you a classic example of Dubai. Dubai has got, I think it's like 200 plus nationalities out here. The whole world is out here. All right. Now, if I'm not culturally sensitive as a director of events, and I've got an event taking place with 2,000 odd people, where there's food, there's beverage, there are certain customs, there are certain timings, there are prayer timings, there are certain things that need to be looked into vegetarian, non vegetarian, beef, pork, all these things, halal. So I need to know that these things are important to everybody, correct?
Definitely, sir.
I can't be serving non veg to a veg. That'll be sacrilege. That person's going to beat me up. So you need to understand who your target audience is. Overall, you need to be very sensitive about what is happening around. So that is something which is important in our field. And there's a story attached to this in the book where I'll leave it to the reader then to go through it. It was something that took place in one of the hotels where we had a Chinese group. And because I, as the director of events, didn't pay much attention to the cultural sensitivity, we almost landed ourselves in a soup with one small thing which went wrong, which we thought was correct, but from that tradition it was wrong. So, yes, that's what it is about.
Definitely, sir. So what role does teamwork play in pulling off large-scale hotel events, sir?
Teamwork, I think, is the backbone of everything. Nobody is a superstar. Even if he's a superstar, she's a superstar, you're not going to go very far without a team. For me, I've led some amazing teams. I used to always call my team the A team, the best team. All right. We did almost made the impossible possible. For me, teamwork was the oxygen. Teamwork was what set everything into place. Now, when you do an event, and I'm sure you've been to many large events yourself, everyone has got to be in sync with what is happening. So you got the chefs, you got the stewarding, you got the wait staff, you got production, you got security, you got housekeeping, you got the valet parkers, you got everything. If all this is not synced like a well-oiled machine, a proper team working together, they need to know even if a challenge hits them in the center of the eye, what should they do? It should not be a lot of blabbering. They just look at each other and they understand what needs to be done. It should be like a well-oiled machine which is working. I'll spend 1 minute and just give you a little bit of an example. We
Definitely,
had,
sir.
we had an event in a ballroom and it was a car launch. And the car was on a hydraulic stage for the reveal. And it had a beautiful silk kind of a cloth covering it. And the stage and the light and the sound and everything was there. And on top in the ceiling, there was this helium balloon with confetti in it for the reveal. Now, unfortunately, the client themselves, when during the rehearsals, someone pressed the remote control by mistake and that helium balloon popped before the show could start. Thanks to a great teamwork, we managed to actually clean out the entire ballroom in record time and still be ready for the event. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to teamwork.
Definitely, sir. So, with hybrid and virtual events on the rise, how do you see the future of event management evolving?
I think COVID has taught the whole world a lesson, really. Prior to COVID, I don't think too many people believed in virtual, correct?
Yes,
2020 hit us, people start understanding, oh, you know what? It's actually convenient as well. I don't need to travel through traffic. I can actually be more productive. So a digital world followed through. You got a physical world and you got the digital world. Live events will never stop. They did stop during the lockdowns, they did stop during a certain period, but people want interactions, live events will continue. But the digital world is very strong. So now, today, we've got a different term called phygital, which is physical and digital. Now, this is a great boon as far as I'm concerned from a hospitality standpoint. Why? I may have a capacity of a exhibition room or a ballroom of, let's say, 5,000 people. And I've got world class speakers on the stage, and it's a ticketed event. Now, if I only put myself in the physical world, it's going to be I've got 5,000 seats, I can only sell 5,000 tickets. But if I add the element of the virtual or the digital world, I can beam this up virtually to the 200 countries worldwide according to the time zones. And suddenly, the 5,000 PAX events can become 50,000.
definitely.
Correct? So all of us have attended webinars, all of us have attended these events from around the globe with the time frames and everything. So to answer your question, hybrid and virtual is here to stay. It all depends how it's modulated.
Definitely, sir. So, what was the most challenging event you have ever managed, and how did it shape your approach, sir?
We had one event many, many years back in the middle of the desert. The setup was done for 6,500 people. It took us 3.5 days to set it up. Everything was set neatly. Stage, lights, sound, table, chairs, buffets, you talk about it. Everything was set. All right. Now the event is tomorrow. 8:30 in the night. We're doing the rehearsals with the band and the stage and the sound, light system and the speakers. and a storm hit us at that time. With that storm, with the winds and the rain, I don't need to tell you, it was absolute devastation. It was an open air event. It literally got wiped out. The whole thing lasted 20 minutes, but it took away 2.5 days of work. Now, here comes teamwork. We regrouped, we sorted out things, we worked overnight. By 8:30 in the morning, everything was back in place. Nobody slept a wink. We worked through the night. We called in extra troops. We made things work. We got in extra equipment. Everything set. 8:30, within 12 hours time, everything was in place. Guess what? 9:30 in the morning, another storm hit. Whatever we had put was crashed again. So finally, the decision was made to move that venue, and it was taken indoors into a banqueting hall, and everything had to be shipped out. And we did that event. I mean, for me, that was one of the most challenging events. We set up for 6,500, destroyed. We set up for 6,500, destroyed. Then within 12 hours or 11 hours, we had to reset into a different venue, and we managed to do it in time. That evening, 7:30, we welcomed the guest for the same event. So that kind of stands out as the A team really delivering the goods.
That's why you told me it's a 24 into 7, 365 unpredictable things that can happen.
Unpredictable. My God, I'm telling you, Neetu, we did not sleep. Nobody slept. Nobody. We had started that morning at 8 o'clock. We ran through the night. We worked through the night. We worked through the day. We worked until the event was over the next day at 3 o'clock in the morning. I think everyone went home after doing 36 hours or something like that. And nobody complained. That's the best part.
Definitely, that's a teamwork, sir. You
Yeah.
have that accountability towards your work, sir.
Yeah. I'm sure when one fine day when I get my team together and they listen to this, it'll bring back light bulbs. They will remember this. They'll think
Definitely.
about, oh, I was part of that.
Yes. So, in this book, you emphasizes under promise and over deliver. Why is this principle so important in hospitality?
I think it's about trust, really. When a client comes to you as you are the event manager, event director, whatever you want to call yourself, it's about trust. They're trusting you to do something. You should never promise something that you can't deliver. Though it says under promise, over deliver, we're not telling anyone to fake anything. Give what is required, meet the client's requirement, but at the end of the day, if you want that person to be a repeat client to you, you got to over deliver. So if I've told Neetu this is going to happen, I will not only deliver that, but I'll have that extra baker's dozen, that extra bit which you didn't expect. And when you see it on the day, I've not told you about it, but on that day, you and your clients and experience that extra part of it, you're going to turn around and say, I really enjoyed myself and they really looked after me. So there's another story attached to this, but I'll leave it in the book. Otherwise, it'll go on for too long. There's a beautiful incident which took place in which I had a European gent who was proposing to his girlfriend, and how we under promised and over
Over
delivered.
deliver.
It was amazing. When we finished that event, Neetu, I met the gentleman for breakfast the following morning, and he stood up, shook hands with me along with his fiancée. He had proposed to her. And he said to me, he said, Bosco, if there's any hotel in the world I'll stay in the hotel where you work in. And I looked at him and I said, that's a huge compliment. Thank you so much, Joe. It's been a pleasure having this event with you. And he jokingly said, now that we're engaged at your resort, it's a memory which we'll never forget. When we decide to get married, we're going to give you a call. You need to take care of the wedding. And after the wedding, our first anniversary, we're going to come back. And when we have a kid, then you plan the kid's first birthday as well.
So future events are already with you.
Right. So, this is the best kind of business. You don't need to look for another client, isn't it?
Definitely, sir.
You have that one client, you make sure that one client is happy. You don't have to keep hunting. You look after them, and word of mouth will get you the second and the third and the fifth client.
Definitely, sir, because once the client is trust you and you gain that trust from that client, so definitely he will refer you as well.
Absolutely. In fact, Neetu, we have a company called Ultimate Ground Reality. That's the name of my company here in Dubai. Our tagline is ultimately, it's all about trust. And that's what it is. You don't
Yes,
want the best looking guy and the best looking girl in the sleekest of looking dresses with whatever. You need someone you can trust,
definitely, sir.
right? And it's not only events, it's in everyday life. You deal with someone, you need to make sure that there's no hidden agendas in that. You need someone who you can relate to. And that's what it is all about.
Yes, sir. Yes. So, if you could give one piece of advice to young aspirants entering into event management today, what would be it be, sir?
I would say to anyone out there, don't fall for the glamour. You see, everyone is suit, boot, standing in fancy hotel lobbies and chandeliers and lights and all that. No, no, that is part of it. Be that, I always say that to anyone who's worked with me. Be that team member who's dependable. Be that kind of team member that everyone wants to have on their team. Someone who will go that extra mile. Be that Mr. Friday. Don't come here for the glamour, to have fancy titles, direct general manager. It's great. It's good to grow, but titles will come as long as people, promotions will come as long as people know that this person's here and doing things honestly. So work with honesty, give it your baker's dozen, work as a team member, and be upfront in whatever you do. Be honest, show
Definitely,
up,
sir.
be trustworthy. Be that person where if that person says, I'll get it done, whatever it might be, even if it's making a photocopy, I'll get it done. There's no doubt. That person knows this person is dependable. I can, that person will not go to sleep until it's done. Be that kind of a person. It's not easy, but anyway, that's what it is.
Definitely, sir. Definitely. There should be an integrity in that, sir.
Absolutely.
So, looking back to your journey, is there any moment that you considered as the proudest achievement as an event professional, sir?
Yes. A lot of people would probably say that moment when everything went perfectly fine without any glitch. I would like to think a little bit beyond that. For me, the proudest moment would be making something which is tough, make it look easy, almost effortless. Your clients know it, it's difficult. They've asked for something which is not easy, but you're not phased. You're making things happen on the go. You're cool, you're calm, everything is working. You're making the impossible possible, and it's like another Monday morning, easy to deal with. They should be thinking, what does this person have for breakfast? How come this person manages to say, I'll get it done or done, and it happens? So, making it effortless, I think, is key to all of this. I've got many other things to talk about where we did a grand opening of a mega structure in record time, okay, where we had uh, two closing concerts side by side. There were 60,000 people for that event, Neetu. 60. Okay. The team worked night and day. I've given you a couple of examples. Fantastic. So, that I would like to think is the team has always been close to my heart. My proudest moment has always been where myself and my team have excelled and made the client say, wow, can we come back and see you guys again?
Definitely, sir. So, beyond event management, what life lesson do you hope readers will take away from your book, sir?
Once anyone, not only the students, once anyone reads this book, I would like to think, like I said earlier, life and events is similar. There's no dress rehearsals. Things happen. The phone rings, a person comes and says something to you, or your schedule is completely gone upside down, or a meeting lasts longer than necessary, whatever it is. I would say give it your best shot, but you got to be consistent. Do this every day. You can't be that kind of a person. Oh, you're fantastic on a Monday and you're terrible on a Tuesday, and you come back on a Wednesday, you're in a bad mood, and Thursday, maybe. No, you got to be consistent, correct? You got to be
Definitely,
dependable. And I think you have one chance to show up, really, in life and in business and in events. You have one chance to show up. So show up and deliver. Give it your best
definitely,
shot. Correct? Where's the point of coming with a sour face? Come there, give it your best shot. Make yourself proud, make your parents proud, make the people around you feel, wow, I want to be around this person. And in closing, I would say, which is my mantra, never give up. Never ever give up.
yeah.
Okay? Things will happen, things will go fine, sometimes things will go terrible. The mantra is never give up. That's it.
That only you can learn something from life, no? The experiences that, yes. So never
Yes.
give up. Definitely, sir. So thank you so much, sir, for joining this event. What we learn from this book, sir, the book teaches us that life is our greatest teacher. Every
Yes.
success, setbacks, and struggles hold us hidden message. Why, when we embrace things experience with openness, we gain strength, wisdom, and resilience, turning challenges into stepping stone and shaping a purposeful journey filled with growth and inspiration. Thank you so much, Bosco sir, for joining this event. And thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
And Neetu, don't forget, never give up.
Definitely never give up.
See you.
So हमने जो सीखा, life is a continuous classroom where every joy, challenges, and failure carries meaning. Lesson we learn remind us that wisdom often emerges from the simplest moments. By embarrassing each experience and not only grow stronger ourselves but also inspire us to discover strength, hope, and purpose in their journey. So thank you so much everyone for joining us. And हम सर की बुक का लिंक नीचे डिस्प्ले कर रहे हैं so that you can go and read and that inspire you as well. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe. ऐसे ही हम न्यू बुक्स के साथ और उनके ऑथर के साथ आते रहेंगे. Thank you so much.